Racism in this country is a hologram. It's a tool used by the powers that be to keep us, the populace, looking at each other instead of looking up and seeing what they're doing, right? And they use it, you know? White people, oh, don't go over there. Those black people, they're stealing white babies. Oh, Lord, Jesus, you stay away from them black people. Those black people are gonna get you. And black folks, y'all was saying, those cracker-ass white people, they're putting stuff in chicken, make your junk fall off. Nuh-uh. That's right, and make a thing drop right off, sure will. The truth of the matter is, it's rich and poor. Now, like where I grew up in Arkansas, there was no black or white, we're all broke, okay? What's your color? Poor, okay? You know, when you eat your cereal out of a Cool Whip bowl stained with chili or spaghetti sauce, does it really matter if you're black or you're white?
2 bottles of water. Ethiopia comes from the Greek word Ethiopia, which simply translates the land of sunburned people. I wonder why some of them feels like they are not black.
Because they're not. As I've been saying, and I will continue to say, in fact, if you watch the video, a woman says we're Habesha. I showed you them in the last video, which means they're mixed. See, the thing is, people are telling porcupines to hide what's really going on. And if you watch it even further, a guy comes on and says that Lucy was created there. It's 3 million whatever years old. So you mean to tell me this monkey couldn't evolve in millions of years? We know that's not the true story. We're not dumb. Basically, people mixed and they don't want to admit they did. And you see, what had to happen is through a certain religion or religions, but this one in particular, which I grew up in, they said the message had to reach all the 4 corners of the world. And in the 4 corners of the world, excluding modern day Africa, the people there were called Ethiopians and had burnt faces, as all the explorers had said. See, what do they mean when they're saying the image of God? Which God are we talking about? Who is God? See, people like me will get all hyped. And we're born and we're made in the image of God. Who is God? They say that Indians are made in the image of God. So who is God? They say the Norse mythology gods were made in the image of God. So who is God? You see, when people call themselves gods and goddesses, everybody gets bent out of shape, and I get it. But you don't seem to get stressed when you hear, I'm a godparent, which means somebody who gives spiritual advice. Who would have this spiritual advice? And this is what gets people like me especially, because I believe most people don't actually know what's going on, or all people, but my people especially are so stuck that they don't understand what this is really about. And hopefully by the end of this video, the delusions will be gone. So let me start here. The Morisco. Does it sound like something else? As I've said to you in previous videos that the name Moor was initially M-O-I-R. Who did you find? And why were they the slaves of Queen Anne? And why is St. Anne's in Jamaica the first Christian settlement?
Breaking shocking news, the Church of England's dirty secret. The Church of England once owned a sugar plantation on Barbados that profited it about £5 million a year in today's money. They purchased slaves from West Africa and subjected them to inhuman treatment, including having the word society branded on their chests with a hot iron to show that they were the property of the church. The further shocking news that has just emerged is that a previous Archbishop of Canterbury actually chaired the meetings approving the purchase of more slaves for the plantation. They were needed because so many had died as a result of their inhuman treatment. The church also enslaved children as workers too. The wealth the church enjoys today and its ownership of vast parts of the land and real estate of England and its prestige is because of this shameful blood money from the past. The Catholic Church and many of the popes were no better, abusing the innocent and forcing them into slavery. People often trust religion, religious people, and the church. They shouldn't. It has little, if anything, to do with God or Jesus. It is a human system spawned, controlled, and dominated by men. It is responsible for atrocities throughout history, even up to our present day. Only trust that which you have researched, investigated, reviewed, assessed, experienced, and concluded is safe, honourable, has integrity, and has crossed the ultimate threshold of being able to pass the test of love's scrutiny.
Like, how much more do I need to spell this shit out? But I'll continue anyway. So the Moriscos, also called conversos, were forced to convert to what religion? What religion do you think they were forced to convert to? Well, I'll put it this way. They practiced their religion secretly whilst outwardly seeming as if they were Christians. Christians, being forced to be a Christian. But you still want to be down my throat telling me I'm confused. The information's all there. And what do they look like? They're in Europe, Portugal, Spain, because they changed the name. What do they look like? Okay. And so when it was time for them to be kicked off, kicked out of Europe, where did they go? Who did they ask for help? And then when they get to these countries, suddenly the people that were there do not exist. What did I tell you that Indian meant? See, if you classify yourself as Indian in any capacity, you are Indo-European, Indo-Iranian, or a Paleo-Indian. What does Indian mean? Do you remember? It means various ethnic groups under one umbrella. So how can you call a country ethnic groups? I'm ethnic groups. That's what you're calling yourself every time you say Indian. Every time you say you're not BLK, you're saying you're some form of an Indian. Even though you all fight each other, which is what you've always done, because everybody is vying for their place because they're mixed race. Then what do? They do the same thing where, who is the Native American? You see, it's all linked to the Bible. And when I've showed you, I get silence. What's the reason? I never made up this history, just to remind you. What do? They tell everybody else that the land that they're on is stolen. But where are you from? Your own history says that you are from Siberia. And you know who was taken to Siberia? Some of the Indo-Europeans were taken. They just don't know that's what they are. Because everybody's being mixed up and divided. I know though, even if you think I'm chatting the most was, I'll always come and blast the evidence in your face. But more than that, your blood in your body must be crip walking for the lies that you're telling. And every time that you are offensive to somebody whose skin is darker or lighter than yours, you don't understand that your genetic markers are saying otherwise. Just go and look at your genetic markers and you see how foolish racism is. Nevertheless, I will stipulate, some of you call yourself Choctaw, but who you really are you are settlers that asked if you could come and live in the Choctaw communities. They made laws so that you couldn't come in there and mess ish up. But then they adopted your ways, and now you're telling people that you're the Choctaw from Siberia. How's that then? You see, the same thing is happening right now and you cannot see it. What is it that you think's actually happening in America right now. And then you know what they're going to say? Just like in India, they say, oh no, Ethiopians weren't here. Just like in America, say, oh no, we're the Chakata. And get themselves all hyped up. Well, you weren't even the first groups. You are way down the line of the first groups that came. And in fact, you're more European than anything else. Is anybody looking in the mirror when they're saying the things they're saying? You don't look at yourself and think, oh, I kind of look like, just like them over there. You're not seeing it. See, nobody cared when it was the Darkers going through ish. You forgot where you came from. What do you think the 1/7 is in you? Which is your claim to fame and your claim to land. What do you think it is? And now, the immigrants are telling people to get out the country. So what do you think is going to happen in America? You're still arguing when there's so much evidence that you all got on boats and went over there. That's the biggest video on this channel of the guy that I put up who's saying, like, all of the Europeans came in on boats. I've shown the evidence of that. And you're still out here pointing fingers and telling people where to go and what to fucking do. What do you think this ICE thing is actually about? But you see, now people who are not BLK are getting the rap. Suddenly now you're interested. See, the main problem here is that the thing that catapulted this behavior was this religion. What does Christ actually mean? It's part of the caste system. So when you say no, black people can strive forward just like anyone else, or you forgot about all of the fights for freedom. You just forgot. You forgot that the whole system was built on the caste system. You forgot. That's interesting. But you see, it's come all the way back round to bite you, because you wouldn't admit who you were and who the others like me were. And the others like me are so asleep that they actually think that Jesus is come to save them. Which Jesus, please? Because the Jesus that kicked the Moriscos out of Portugal isn't coming to save you. Jesus Christ, that is. Because who is Christ?
Tus ancestros y la suya cultura, hombre indígena, Tú eres honorable y yo veo la fuerza que todavía sobrevive a pesar del abuso de tu raza venerable.